to my fireside. My name's Nannie Annie, and I'm going to share with you just one of my tales of ghostly goings on here at this end of St Andrews. Now I was just thinking, minding about the other folk that used to bide in this house here. And my mind cast back to stories I've heard about one wifey, a wifey called Charlotte. Now Charlotte had an awful lot of tragedy in her life, the poor lassie. She married at 16 to her Robbie. Oh, she was that much in love with him. The pair of them made a braw couple. But you see, Robbie was a fisherman. And just a month or two after the wedding, he set off to the fishing one morning, never come back. Oh, she was heartbroken. But there was nobody else that would do for her. She never married again, and she didn't hae ony bairns. She spent the rest of her life all alone, living in this wee house and making a living for doing odd jobs about the place. Oh, she was an awful braw knitter. She could knit a braw gansy, so she had a lots of orders for them. And then she was quite good at mending nets as well, and there was always somebody needing a hand. And she wasn't that. She was quite good at going down to the harbour and helping with gutting the fish as well. So she made a good enough living for herself. But in their days, folk believed that the gulls held the souls of lost sailors and fishermen. And so Annie would often join the other widow wives down at the harbour, feeding the gulls. They used to gang there just back at tea time, and the gulls would screech and wheel around in the sky. And they would feed them, they would throw out their scraps, they all had a wee bowl with something in them. And they seemed to think that they kent what their man's favourite food was, and if one gull snapped something up, then that would be him. There was old Betty. She always had a bit bannock in her bowl, and she would cast it out up in the air, and if a gull came and snapped it up, she would say, "Ah, that's my Willie there. Oh, I always liked a bit bannock." And then Aggie, she always had some oat cakes in her bowl, and she would throw them out, and when a gull came and ate it, she would say, "Oh, that's my joke. Oh, he really liked his oat cakes." And then there was Janet. She always had cheese in her bowl, because she kent that her Andra, he really liked a bit of cheese. And so it went on day after day, with the wives talking to the gulls. And Charlotte, she joined in. She had a bowl of scraps and she would throw bits and pieces out. But folk noticed that Charlotte always looked really hard at the gulls, studied them. But there was always one wee bit of something left in her bowl when she turned, shaking her head to go back home again. You see, Charlotte always brought a bit of bride's cake. And for the first few years it was a bit of her own bride's cake that she brought with her. Oh, it had been braw. The fruit soaked in rum. And Robbie had fair liked it. but she never threw it out because she never saw Robbie. And as the years went by, her ain cake went mouldy, disappeared. But the folk all around, well, they kent that she liked to hae a bit of bride's cake in the house for her Robbie. So if there was a wedding, a bit of cake would be put aside to tack round to Charlotte. Oh, and she was that pleased about it. She always had a bit. Well, the years went on and the years went on, and still Charlotte carried on doing it, even though the other fishermen's wives had long since given up. Still Charlotte, even though she lived to nearly 100 years old, would be seen wandering down the Kirkwynd, down to the harbour. Then, one winter's night, there was a terrible storm. The wind was howling and the rain was battering off the cobbles. The gulls were staying well away out on their cliff tops. And all the fishermen and their families, their wives and bairns were shut in tight in their wee houses. But if anybody had looked out their window, they would seen Charlotte, with her shawl wrapped round her, making her way in the rain down to the harbour for another look to see if maybe the day would be the day that Robbie came back. Well, the next morning the storm had gone, and so had Charlotte. They found her lying on the sand round by the east bents. She'd passed away, and folks said maybe Robbie came for her after all, and maybe he did. But I don't know, because since I've stayed here, on some nights just at the back at tea time, that's when the tapping starts. And the windies start to rattle. And it's like somebody's shuggling the handle on the door, trying to get in. And if the wind is blowing in the right direction, I hear a whispering, "Robbie, Robbie, Robbie, are you there? Robbie, are you coming? Are you coming for me, Robbie?" So I think poor Charlotte is still looking for her Robbie.